Hi, this is Mimi.
And this is Lee. And in this episode of Getting Rich After Divorce, we talk about the 3 reasons a purpose-driven business is better. Mimi and I will explore the various ways of thinking about purpose, our own personal sense of purpose, and how we incorporate purpose into our business and into our lives. And we're going to chat about what purpose is or could be. Purpose is a word that can evoke different meanings and emotional responses for different people. It's a pretty big topic. So we're going to just talk about all the different ways people, in our path of purpose and talking about purpose, we uncovered so many different ways people think about it.
Yeah, and it always is so surprising to me how many different ways people can talk about what purpose is, and can you have a purpose? Can you have one purpose, multiple purposes? And how even in my own mind, I can agree with all of them. Like it's such a broad word, purpose. And it can, like Lee said, it really can mean so many different things to you, different people, you at different times in your life, you at different places in your life. It's a really interesting topic.
Yeah, and there's even, what's hilarious to me is in the coaching world, what I discover over and over again, and maybe just the world in general, if you start to have a bunch of people talking about purpose, there's going to be an anti-purpose movement. And there is. Like, you can find a lot of articles out there about why purpose is bad and there is no purpose, and people who talk about purpose are bad. So you can, and some people may, it's just like an emotional, like I said earlier, people have emotional responses to this idea of purpose based on what's going on for them, based on, how they bumped into it or maybe misunderstood it, or they felt less than because they didn't feel a strong sense of purpose. Yeah, I'm not sure why people are like lashing out against the word purpose to the point where they need to tell people they don't have a purpose and it's meaningless. But
yeah, exactly. And it's like the idea of like, yeah, it's like, I really want to start a purpose-driven business. And people are like, what? Like scoffing, like, no, you don't. Like, you just want your business to make money. Like, you just want a profitable business. I was like, yeah, I want a profitable business. I also want it to be purpose driven. And I think it kind of really relates to mission, don't you think, Lee? Like the idea of what your business's mission is a lot of what your purpose is, but you can also have a mission that's not connected to any purpose at all. I just can't fathom what that would look like in my world.
Same here. I think it would be a bit of an empty mission, unless it was all financial. Or to me, that is hard, because mission to me means something a little deeper, even at the corporate level. And you can tell, because we've taught people how to write mission statements, and we've gone through that exercise ourselves. You can tell when you call through and like explore all the different mission statements out there, the ones that sound like nothing. Like they just had to do it and they had to get through that corporate exercise and then put it out there like they actually had a mission. And it just sounds like gobbledygook or stupid or flat or totally like they just didn't even care. They don't care.
That's really interesting. It just got me thinking, when I started my first business, I really just needed it to make money at that time. I didn't think about any purpose underneath it other than as my marriage was crumbling and our finances were crumbling with it. Like, how could I start making money with this business and make it more? And I was like, if you've been around, you've heard me tell my like buy the ticket story, but it really was a revelatory moment. Like, my business itself didn't carry the mission or my purpose, but the outcome of what was going to happen in my life if I could make this business successful certainly did. So it was like a little bit of a funny twist on a purpose-driven business.
Yeah, and Mimi, like what I noticed about your journey in that business that wasn't necessarily at the beginning solely purpose-based, the why underneath your business, like your own personal mission, was intricately tied to doing that business. And when you further defined it at the buy the ticket moment, which we can maybe tell the story a little, so people, a lot of people may not know your buy the ticket moment. It's
Yeah.
a written piece that Mimi did at one point earlier in
Yeah.
our business. But
Yeah. I'll just
when,
link to that. Lee. I can just put the link to that.
yeah. So it was a
Mhm.
pivotal moment where Mimi was doing okay in her own personal business and her mission just to make money without having to work for someone else, and maybe even elevate her income and experience, having more freedom to live the way she wanted to live. But when she had her buy the ticket moment, that is a purpose drive and a sense of mission that's and please correct me if I'm wrong, Mimi, but that seemed to be when your business like just took off like a rocket.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I would say within 2 years, well, within a year, I had cracked 6 figures, and within probably 2.5 years, I was at multiple 6 figures. It was,
Yeah.
it was crazy. It really is like connecting to why you do something.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that was a
purpose
little
can,
aside. Let's get back to talking about what purpose is.
well, it's not really an aside because purpose is a little bit like a why. It is like if you start talking about mission and why you're doing something, I think it's very much connected to purpose. But let's explore all the different ways we've heard people thinking about it, because we've even given public talks about purpose, and we've discovered people really think all over the map around purpose and not necessarily what we're thinking. So we can talk about, like, for example, some people think of purpose like a goal or an intention. And we thought about that. I think they're adjacent and parallel to one another, or can be, but purpose is definitely deeper than just like a goal you're setting or a task. If it's too mundane a task or a goal, then I don't know if it's a purpose. I find it hard to think of it like that, but it can be adjacent to a big goal.
Yeah, I find it hard to think of it like that. I think you could have goals underneath your purpose that are helping you elevate or reach, or share or spread your purpose. But yeah, sometimes I don't think that the goal is the purpose. And I think too, like for some people, the idea of purpose is very spiritual. Like it
Yes.
it has moved away from the practical realm and takes on a spiritual tone. And for people that aren't super spiritual, they're living in the practical and warm side of what purpose means for them.
I mean, I do, it's interesting. I think for me, it's a blend. It's like it's spirit. It does feel a little bit spiritual because I am so driven by our own, purpose driven business. It's such a deep thing on a practical level in our business, but there is definitely a spiritual element to it that's hard to describe. I mean, I don't feel like somebody handed me a piece of paper that said, here's your purpose, like when I was floating around as a, pre-birth or something. But somehow in my life experience, my skill set has coincided and my training has coincided with a need I see in the world. And so it's like a combination of spiritual and practical. And another thing, you can think of a purpose like a focusing agent, like a North Star kind of thing. Definitely, I think of purpose more like a path than like a definition that someone hands you or a prescription someone hands you. Like, here's your purpose, it's fixed in stone. I think of it more like this path that you travel through life. And so the purpose definition may look slightly different as you move down the pathway and through your life. It may shift like a little bit and looks slightly different to you based on your age and what's going on in your life.
Yeah, I like that. I like the idea of purpose having an evolution, right? And I think there's different phases in your life where what your purpose is may shift. I do tend to think that they're all connected. That your purpose is driven from who you are as a human being on this planet. So if you're someone that is highly environmental and connected to the earth, that your all the decisions that you make in life are probably driven by that deep love of nature and the planet. And so probably your purpose is somewhat linked into that. Not that every decision you make and at every point in your life, that's where your focus is. But I think maybe it's kind of under there somewhere.
I'm wondering if some of the backlash, like there's such in our society right now in the United States, there's this high degree of polarization where wherever you fall, you're supposed to do everything according to like the tenets of the platform of that side, because we've gotten these like two very clear sides that have been created. I don't think they truly exist. They've been created by the media, certain powers that be. Like we end up in these two very polarized positions, and then you're supposed to like walk the line of that and not vary. And I wonder if purpose starts to get under people's skin where they're like, I don't want to have to do, like I was thinking the environment, like I don't want to be like correct about everything. I don't want to have to my life be hemmed in by that. I don't know where the backlash, I'm trying to think about where the backlash is coming from, but when we talk about even like the environment, or we have a larger mission that has to do, we'll give you our mission statement, but that has to do more with like helping women get more financially powerful. But that doesn't mean I have to be correct about it. I don't have to look a certain way about it. It's an internal mission that I feel strongly, and I get to do it however I want to do it, however I feel motivated and driven to do it. I don't have to look a certain way or toe a line or make everybody else happy. The purpose is yours, and you don't have to make other people happy with it. It doesn't have to look the way somebody else would do their purpose, which is what I like about purpose. It's highly individualized.
Yeah, exactly. And I think too, like, as you gain knowledge about the world, life, and yourself, like that also is going to help your purpose evolve and change potentially. I do think there are some people that are born, they know exactly what they want to do in life, they understand their purpose clearly, and they can pursue it with a vengeance. I'm always a little envious when I bump into people like that. Because I think most people are probably like me, and it's like, I kind of have this vague idea of why I'm here, what my skill sets are, where I excel, what my passions are. And I'm always like in exploration mode. So I think,
yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah. So I think sometimes like the more you learn, it helps you hone in your purpose and define it and narrow it a little bit, or the opposite, right? Or it can help you expand it to include more things.
I don't know. I tend to think that purpose is a focusing agent. It has more of a narrowness to it than a broadness. And it carries a sense of identity when you can kind of see more clearly and focus more clearly on what your purpose is at that time. It does tend to be a little narrower, because a path to really get somewhere, you can't go all paths.
Right.
You can't really get to one place. And so I think of it, purpose really is more like a path with a North Star, and the North Star in your purpose is unlike the actual North. It could shift its direction just slightly, probably not a 180-degree turn, but it can shift a little over your lifetime, or you just see it differently. I think you can interpret it differently over your lifetime. And when I think about how I was as a child, like I'm trying to think, has there been like a through line from when I was little Lee to, big Lee, older, hopefully wiser Lee. Like, I think I always had a really strong sense of justice versus injustice. And yeah, like inclusion, a sense of inclusion, not in the modern sense, not like when I was 7, for example, I wasn't thinking about modern interpretation of inclusion, but just the sense of fairness in the world. I had a strong reaction, even as a child, to what was fair versus unfair. And so I think that carries through to my modern purpose for our business.
Yeah, that just made me think, when you were saying like younger Lee versus hopefully older and wiser Lee, it made me think of like younger Mimi. And I definitely have been always focused on, I come from a family that's boy, girl, boy, girl. I'm the second girl. That boys just seem to have an easier path in life. I don't have sons, so I'm clearly on a female, come from a very matriarchal family, but I have always been passionate about like women have to work harder, do more. And it just made me think of a poem I wrote, I think it was like 5th or 6th grade. And it was like, why I hate being a girl.
Oh
And it was like published in the school's little, they had a little catalog, I don't know what it was. It's called
no.
the
That's so cute,
I,
Mimi. Do you have it? Do you have it saved somewhere?
I might still have it. I think I might still have it. I don't know. But it was all about like what I had to do as a girl. I think it was like having to wear dresses that twirl was the first line. That literally is the only one that I remember. But it was along that vein that I had this specific being that I had to be. And my brothers got to go do all this like fun and crazy stuff. So yeah, I think that that
Wow.
obviously has been with me, you know, all the time. I just posted somewhere, it's like, I'm not anti-man, but I'm definitely 1000% women, you know. And so I
Yeah,
think
pro
maybe
woman.
that's a,
Yeah.
you know, a thread of purpose that's been, you know,
Yeah.
throughout my life.
Yeah. I would love, I hope you have that somewhere. That would be
Yeah.
so cute just to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely see that in modern day Mimi. I definitely see that in you for
And I
sure.
can remember when I had girls, I was like, my whole role as a mom is just to raise strong, independent women.
Mhm.
Like, I didn't care what they did. I didn't care like what else I screwed up or did right. Like my goal was to have strong, independent women. And who, thank heavens that happened.
Yeah, you definitely fulfilled a mission there. I mean, my first child was a boy, and then I had 2 girls, and it's been interesting to raise both. It's been so enlightening to raise both. And um, I do feel, and I don't know if my son would agree, but I do feel he has an advantage over his sisters in a number of ways that he may take for granted. But I do see that he works hard for things. It's not like he just like skates through life or anything. I mean, he really does work hard for things and challenges himself. So it's not, I don't want it to sound like he doesn't work hard and stay very disciplined, but I do think I see how he's managed to, as many men do, seem quite lucky sometimes, you
Yeah.
know, and things that are handed to him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's kind of what you know, that whole thought process has been the impetus of our business, right? And
Mhm.
what the purpose of our business, I mean, our business is called HerGenius. So we definitely have, like, even in the name of our business, very clear what we want to get out into the world. We want more her geniuses and her genius businesses and her genius energy flowing into this world.
Absolutely. Oh, another thing, absolutely. And our podcast is called Getting Rich After Divorce, and it's clearly for women because everything's in pink. So, you know, we definitely have a theme going on that's very, you know, close and dear to our hearts. I know a conversation that comes up a lot in our programs when we're working live with people, like in group coaching and stuff, is does my purpose have to be tied to making money? That's a question that comes up a lot. Definitely, I think if you're starting a business, if you're going in to be your own boss, we would, in our programs, we absolutely have exercises and whole intensives, you know, inside the course that deal with bringing in your spirit, bringing in who you are at your core, you know, kind of even more of a spiritual element, not like it's a religious thing, but more like that's where your core values sit. Those core values sit with your spirit. I think it's something really like hardwired into people what their core values are. We do make a strong case for that would be the best way to build your business. Absolutely. So like if somebody feels like their purpose is hanging out with horses, but yet they're an accountant, maybe but we do a lot of work on that inside the course so that you can actually see how your purpose is related to making money. Or like Mimi mentioned earlier, it wasn't so much what she was doing to make the money, but the reason underneath that purpose underneath it was a major driving force and completely changed her success and revenue equation.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to answer that question. Like, do I have to make money from my purpose?
Yeah.
I personally believe you absolutely don't have to. Like, you can have a job that's a job and you're making money at it. And you can have your purpose, and that could be you showing up in your family and your community in a way that's aligned with your purpose. Like, it's not you out protesting or, canvassing or doing any work. Just by being you and understanding what it is, what your values are, you're living your purpose in that world. But if you're gonna start a business, to have it aligned to your purpose is a beautiful thing. So I was like, your purpose doesn't have to make you money, but if you're going to start a business, I highly think you'll be more successful and enjoy it more if you tie it into some aspect of what feels purposeful to you.
Right. And we'll talk about those three, like the three main reasons we think we know it's helped our business and our success rate for sure. So we're definitely proponents of figuring out what a purpose might be at this particular time in your life. And it's going to be, again, linked to your core values and who you really are and what you feel driven about in the world, where you see a need in the world or a need in your life or your children's lives. Like with Mimi, I think it was like, in this family, we really need X, Y, and Z. And I see how my business aligns with this need. And this is really motivating to me. So they are connected.
Yeah.
Definitely connected. And huge motivational agents, focusing agents, clarity agents, motivational agents, inspiration agents. It really dials things in so you can see more clearly why you're doing something.
Yeah. So should we drop in and really clarify what we think?
Yep.
And there's tons of reasons why, having a purpose-driven business is valuable. We think these three kind of stand out, and they are the most sort of easily to digest, attainable, and the most helpful for you, especially if you're just starting your business out. So first, I don't even know if we've clearly stated what our mission and purpose is for our business.
Oh yeah, let's more clearly state that. That's a good idea. Go for it.
So our purpose is to put more money in the hands of divorced women and marginalized women in general, which really in the business and financial arena is every single woman on the planet, because we got such a late start to this money party. Like, the system is not geared to help women or any marginalized community be successful, to have access to the information and the money necessary. That's the beautiful thing about an online business. Like, the financial point is so low.
Yeah, and talking about being late to the money party, women are many millennia behind. I mean, thousands and thousands of years behind. There's this talk about sometime in prehistory, women ruled the roost, but I'm not seeing it in the culture that has grown out of, Egypt, Greece. Like, I don't see it in the reality of what was occurring, throughout those times. And, you trace civilization from there. I see that men were in charge. I see men had all the money and control. And I'm not bitter about that, but I want to change the equation, because I think now we have the ability, like Mimi said, the world of the internet, this online space has opened up and removed a lot of barriers for women. So this is a really good time to start to balance the scales and make it so that women have more financial power and freedom and a voice in what actually happens on this planet and in this world. Money, whether we like it or not, is power. And so when women have more money in their hands, they have more of it's a balancing agent. You get more power. And when women have more power in the world, it is my firm belief that the world will not just be a crazy train wreck that it is right now. I mean, I think there's some good things happening in the world today. I don't think everything's a disaster. I do tend to be glass half full, but there are arguably some major problems today. Just in general, we look out in the world, there's some major things to fix and work on as a society, as a planet. And I believe that when women have more of a say-so and more power, we can actually fix some of these things that just seem to be going off a cliff. So, that's how passionately I feel about what we're doing here, for sure.
Yeah. And I just want to dial that in a little bit, Lee, for people that don't quite understand, what does power mean? Like when you say like money has power, what does that mean? And I think
Yeah.
it's when you have money, you can support the causes that you are passionate about. So if it's the environment, if it's healthcare for pregnant women that don't have access to healthcare, whatever you are passionate about, is it literacy? I could just go on and on, but money and the power of money lets you support that. It helps you educate your children. It helps expose you and the people you love to more things in the world. It opens up curiosity. It allows freedom. It lets you support the candidates, that are going to further the things that you love about. So this idea of like, what is power? It helps you. I mean, if you're supporting your candidates, you're affecting laws, which change everything.
Right. And so it can go big into politics where you have more of a voice about who is even selected as a candidate, which candidates can move forward because they have enough funding. But you can bring it way back into the post-divorce world that's more close to home, where as a co-parent and in a co-parenting situation, when your ex is not holding the lion's share of the money, if you can make more money, have more of a say-so in what your kids get and don't get, which doctors they get to go to and not go to, which colleges they go to. You also are demonstrating, whether you have boys or girls, you're showing them how to be more powerful and assertive and stake a claim in the world, especially if you have girls. But even if you have boys, you're showing them a different way, a different balance of power. So it's very much a very personal thing to you and your family. And it flows out into the world in all the ways that Mimi said. So it's all these different levels of power, different kinds of power. It's not power over others. It's balancing the power and having a say-so, because it's been so frustrating for me early on, especially to co-parent, when the share of power went with who had the money. So when my ex had the balance of power, over in his corner, and he disagreed with how to co-parent a certain situation, I lost my voice. I mean, I can talk and talk and talk, but it's the person who has the money. And so it's very personal to your family and to you if you have kids. And then it can really ripple out. You can have such a positive influence on the world when you have money.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's too, like, kind of how the purpose of your business can grow with that, right? Like when my business first started, it was like, I just didn't want the water to be cut off again.
Yeah.
And then it was like, and I don't want to lose the house, like, are we going to have to change our neighborhood and then change our schools, and then when I had a child that wasn't ready to go to college, like, what can I do to help her? Oh, I have the funds now. We can take a gap year. Like, you can take a year to sports. Like, it just opens up so many more opportunities for you. And there's definitely power in that.
There's power and opportunity. You could just as easily say money equals opportunity, but opportunity is power. And it's a type of power no matter who you are, you want that. You want more opportunity and open doors.
Yeah. So why do we think a purpose-driven business is the way to ensure that your business makes more money and you get this beautiful outcome of freedom, decision-making, power, opportunity?
Yeah. So thing number one, why it matters in growing your business, like the foundation, building the foundation of your business and growing your business. why purpose matters. It's because, like, from our perspective in our business, we're going to talk very personally. We care about the outcome for our clients. We empathize with them. We care about, not only the success of ourselves, but we care about the business success of our students a lot, because it's so intricately bound up in our purpose and our mission. And so that care is a huge power. It's a big energy that drives us.
Yeah. And I think it's right. Like, we want our business to be successful because it means we're serving our clients and students in the right way so that they are successful. So they now are helping us push our mission out, maybe unbeknownst to them, maybe because they share the mission, but for whatever. So like Lee said, it's all intricately intertwined. And so, and this caring allows us to stay focused and know what to do every day. So there's also just a very practical benefit. So it's like, when we're trying to make a big decision for our business, we just have to say, like, is this decision aligned with our personal values, the mission of our company, the purpose and reason why we're doing it? And if it is, yeah, let's go all in. If it's not, hey, let's just make a different decision. So it's, there's all the positive ramifications and the goodness, and that success breeds success for other women and financial success for us. But practically, it also makes it, so much easier to make the hard decisions, easy decisions, and right decisions for our business.
Yeah, it's definitely like an inner compass we have built into our business, which we teach our students to have that internal compass, and it really is helps you find your way. The second reason is it's like this force in your business that helps you get through those hard days, those more challenging times. So it's like protection against the hard times. When because you're motivated, you're super motivated. And so when you're motivated and you care, combined with that first reason, you can lean in on those hard days.
Yeah. And it helps too with that focusing element, which is, that's one of the things Lee and I have found has been so instrumental in business, is like, what should I be doing? What's my next step? Where do I go? And like, being motivated and focused keeps those two like roll together, right? When you're focused and doing the right thing, you're seeing positive outcomes, and it's easier to stay motivated. Which means that you don't get frustrated, you don't get, bogged down with negative thoughts. I mean, hard things are going to come, you're going to make decisions in your business that don't pan out as successfully as you want. And being able to purpose-drivenness underneath your business to stay motivated helps you through those times.
Yeah. And the people who don't have that strong foundation of a purpose and a mission, that strong core value kind of compass, when they hit those headwinds and business gets hard, it's really easy to walk away. It's just to give up, because you don't care as much. And you just like, this is too hard and I don't care. And when you care, you don't have that excuse. So you'll try and you get more creative with how to make it work.
Yeah. Perfect. And the third one is your purpose-driven business allows you to stay centered and very authentic, because it's so enmeshed with your personal core values. Lee and I work on our values all the time. We teach our values in almost every workshop, course, anything that we put out in the world. We always bring it back to values. And so when your business sits in those values, it really lets you show up as yourself.
Yeah. And why is that good for your business? It's good because in our current business climate, thought leaders out there, people who think about what's coming next in the world of money and business, like our global financial structure, they talk about how the people who will succeed are the ones who build in authenticity into their business, because people want, or they're drawn to authentic people. They trust that sense of authenticity, and it's like a magnet for people, potential customers and clients and students, because they sense, people are getting smarter about sensing who's talking out of both sides of their mouth. They're not quite, they just come off as inauthentic, and they sense who seems more authentic, and that's who they're going to go with. And so it benefits your business when you're really intentionally focusing on what's authentic to you. And that has to do with those core values and that internal sense of drive and purpose and mission.
Yeah. And now for the ho hum practical side of it, which I always like, it
Yes.
just is more enjoyable and easy to show up as yourself. Like instead of, trying to be this Instagram worthy version of yourself, if you can just show up as you, like, I know how to be this person, or I'm working really hard every day to know how to be this person, I'm not like putting on a show or an act that I know I have to dig in and pull out again time after time. So it's just
and we, like in our podcast around branding and stuff, or marketing, we talk a lot about this, like the non-salesy sales kind of thing, where you don't want to feel like a grease ball when you're selling stuff. We tried to kind of follow certain formulas early on, because we thought that, okay, well, this is what you're supposed to do. And it starts to feel really bad and unenjoyable when you're not really paying attention to your own values and your sense of authenticity, which is aligned with your purpose and your sense of mission. If you say you really care about people, and then you're like going into manipulative sales technique, it doesn't really mesh. It doesn't really mesh. And it starts to feel really off, to the point where you can feel sick inside. Your body starts to talk to you, and it can feel really unenjoyable and bad and hard, as opposed to easy when you're not working with who you really are.
Yeah, absolutely right. I love this discussion.
Me too. It's one of my favorite topics.
Mine too. And I always learn something, even one, obviously talking to Lee, I always learn something, but even just exploring my own thoughts around it always brings up kind of new insights. So hopefully it did for all of you guys that are listening and tuned in today. So I just do a quick recap on the 3 reasons we wanted our business to be purpose driven, and we think you should too. It has a high care factor, is important, allows you to stay and maintain motivation, which is a really hard thing to do, especially if you're a solopreneur. Fortunately, I've got a business partner, woohoo, but it's why we build community into all of our programs too. We think women in community is gold. And it allows you that authenticity that we think is not only easy and fun, but really vital in today's business world, especially if you're in the online, well, any business world, online or brick and mortar, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so definitely purpose, and working on purpose is a big part of our programs. Right now, I don't know when people will hear this, so if you're listening in March 2023, we do have a workshop called Purpose to Profit, and we'll put the link in the show notes. But we will run things like this cyclically. So, come in join our community. We'll put some links below, so that you can be on a wait list, or kind of watch when we run another Purpose to Profit kind of workshop.
Awesome. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Getting Rich After Divorce. We're so happy you're here. We truly value each and every one of you.
Yes, we sure do. And be sure to subscribe to us wherever you're catching us, whether it's on, through a podcast platform or on YouTube. Please subscribe and give us a 5-star rating if you feel you deserve that. And join our community so you get updates and stick with us.